Hello, hello. Welcome to Deorganized. I am your host, peacelovemusic.btc, and we have an awesome show for you today. Co-hosting with me is Hattie from Stacks. Hattie, how are you today?
Very good. And you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad to have you with us. And our guest is an amazing first guest on our podcast is uh, the unequatable Good Kitty. How are you, Miss?
I am very good, thank you. And it's absolutely wonderful to be here with you today. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. And I know
And
you've been.
congratulations on your first show.
Thank you so much. I'm
Yes,
actually
yes.
really excited about this. It's happened very quickly. It wasn't really something I was expecting to do. Um, Came out of D grants, and that's actually going to be the topic of today. We're talking about D grants and what's happening there and what we're building. We're all three of us are involved in that process right now, in varying degrees, along with a bunch of other people, and it's really an awesome thing that's going on there, in my opinion. Really cool. So, Good Kitty, introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right, so I am Good Kitty. I am the founder of the Bitcoin Art Collective. Um, I also am working on a project called the Stacks Mixtapes, which is a music project that is very close to my heart that I am bringing to the Stacks ecosystem later this year. I do a bit of writing for GK Insights, a little newsletter, and also a Gamma partner curator for their Ordinals Prints program. I've been involved in the Stacks ecosystem for about 3 years, and I'm very passionate about NFTs, art, music, photography, literature, pretty much anything that you can put on or create an NFT with. I value the importance of it, the ability for creators to communicate with their audience, and really what I think it can bring to creators.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. And so you've been involved in D grants for a while, or for the last two rounds. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for people that don't know, D grants is a deorganized grant project funded through as a startup through the Stacks Foundation. The first uh, first cohort was, I think, came out sometime earlier this year, quarter 1, and there was a $25,000 grant, and I think there were 5 awardees, and now um, the second cohort is a $50,000 amount, and there are, well, how I guess there was a significant increase in the number of applicants this time. Is that correct?
Yeah, we kind of saw, um, between the cohort 1 and cohort 2, we've seen significant growth in a couple of areas. Like you said, the pool size started off with a $25,000 grant in cohort 1, and that was increased to $50,000 for cohort 2. And then in cohort 1, we had only one track, which was open to all the applicants. And then for cohort 2, we expanded that one track to 6 different tracks, which were each led by a group of dedicated stewards who specialized in the track that they were leading. And this change kind of allowed us to focus more specifically on our specialized areas of interest and expertise within the Stacks ecosystem. And through that, we were able to foster these incredible communities around each track. And I think because of that, we saw the number of applications double, and we had definitely an increased interest and participation in the process. And I think ultimately we onboarded a lot more community members and new community leaders during the process.
Yeah, it was. You got muffled a little bit, but it was over 100 applicants, wasn't it, total, or just about 100 applicants?
Yeah, I think we had about 30 in the first cohort, and yeah, that went up to about 100, maybe over 100 in cohort 2.
That's amazing. That's an amazing turnout, and that shows just the sheer number of people that are building in the space. It's really awesome to see just how many people are have interesting and actionable ideas that they're ready to put an application in and ask for some funding to build some stuff out on this in the Stacks ecosystem. It's really awesome. And I'm amazed at how much it went. Yeah, I was only involved for the last few weeks of the process, maybe a month, where I was really like putting some effort and time into it myself, and it was just really amazing to behold how many people, all the spirit of it and everything, and all the people involved. It was really great, and it kind of ties into. Well, explain to me what you see as some of the core values that are guiding this program.
Look, I think at its core, and what made it completely unique was that it is a completely transparent and inclusive process. And by building the D grants on a truly decentralized foundation, we've managed to create an open, very fair and very collaborative environment where community members can share ideas and work together to both um, or to drive both impactful and innovative projects, and also people with a real entrepreneurial spirit. And this collaborative and supportive environment has encouraged this continuous flow of diverse ideas and creativity, which I think ultimately ensures that our efforts resonate with the grassroots needs and aspirations of the Stacks community, right? And not only that, but we also provide a lot of support and resources to bring these concepts to life quickly and transparently, because ultimately our goal is to build a vibrant and engaged ecosystem where every member can contribute and thrive.
Awesome. And it really is. It's bearing out. I mean, my experience in this so far is that there are a lot of people, talented people, that are willing to help each other. It's not an adversarial thing. It's a very much cooperative. It's competitive, because we have a limited budget to help people with financially. But it's a cooperative spirit. Everyone's trying to, there's very much, we're all going to win. We're all going to make it kind of mentality, where people are really trying to help projects with valid goals and valid milestones that they're trying to get to succeed. And D grants is really helping with that. What are I'm not familiar with all of the cohort 1. What are some of the highlight projects from cohort 1 that have stood out to you?
You were talking about this sense of community that is at the core of this program and how we work together. And I just want to sort of go back a step, because we really only had, it was a much smaller grant, so we only had 5 projects that were funded in cohort 1. But I think I want to go back to, because I think this is important in why the project is like it is, and it's because of the way it was started. It was brought to the community and facilitated by a community member called Hero Gamer, on behalf of the Stacks Foundation towards the end of last year. It was not this year, it was last year. And he just kicked it off by putting a call out on Twitter, basically for the community to nominate stewards and build and lead this program collaboratively. And it was an incredible process, because right from the beginning, all the conversations were held out in the open, which meant that it was literally built live on Twitter, where we finalized steward nominations, we designed the mechanics and voting structures, as well as the application parameters. And then we did all our voting, our feedback, and our mentorship out in the public too. And this was an entirely new concept, building something like this open source with community involvement like that, which made it so exciting to be a part of, right? And like we said, we were given this 25K by the foundation to allocate to projects, and we were given complete autonomy to decide how this funding would be distributed, which really empowered us all right from the start to build this thing out to the best of our ability and with a real sense of community ownership. And there was literally nothing that happened behind closed doors. We even did the voting on a public Google spreadsheet. And like I said, we funded, I think it was 5 or 6 projects in the end. And we had, they were very diverse. And we had Trip and Monkey, who is developing an interesting sort of, it's a program. I don't know how it sort of started in one way and it's heading another way, but it's these portals that you can then buy access passes to, and the community can use them to invite people into their projects. And it's all done on chain, and anybody involved in the process is able to earn a percentage of whatever their input into the process was. So that's a really cool project that I'm very interested in, particularly also because it applies a lot to the arts. We had PQ, he's part of the sort of an OG Stacks NFT project called The Guests, and he's building out a community engagement tool, which I think is going to be quite fun. And it was a very exciting and I think a really cool kickoff. I feel like it was really successful and I'm really proud of it.
Awesome. And yeah, what Trip's building. So I've been doing a little bit of testing for him, just poking around in his site. It's actually a really like crazy, it's an access control protocol that can actually be applied to both live events and apps on-chain apps, as far as basically access control. Like, so you can basically require someone to hold a specific NFT to gain access to either a live event or access to a game, or maybe certain levels are gated access, or access to it's amazing. And it's actually he's building it looks like a decentralized Ticketmaster and or a decentralized on the event side, a decentralized Ticketmaster, and then on the all access side, it's more like a decentralize all sorts of stuff. Like you could do a decentralized Spotify or a decentralized YouTube or whatever you can think of, I guess. And it's open source, so people are going to be able to build their own apps on that, just using his protocol. Crazy. Not that that's what I was in here to talk about, but it's what I'm excited about it enough to like offer to just kind of test it for him to see what it can do. And it's really cool. But that's awesome. So there was only five or six projects that got funding the first time. It was less funding. It was the first time, but it's an open source project, and it was done decentralized and transparently, where all of the communications was in public, available for people to participate in and or review, and the voting was all open source as well, and transparent and inclusive. And I've witnessed that with the second cohort as well. It's really it's awesome what Hero has built, and I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for him and his just being really encouraging, and also accommodating and inviting people in to talk on the spaces and everything, and letting everyone have a voice. He's been great. So I love what he's built. I think he's done a tremendous job. I can't imagine the. I tried to so when I first got into this, I wanted to try to figure out how to understand more about what was going on, and I started just following him into all of the spaces he was in, and it was absolutely exhausting trying to keep up with the guy. He's everywhere, and he's doing so much. I can't understand how he does it all. But it's really a great thing that he's built here,
Yeah. And in a very selfless way, he has, like you say, an incredible way with people. He really knows how to listen. He knows how to make people feel good. He knows how to encourage projects and people. And you said you wouldn't be here without what he's done, and honestly, neither would I. He trusted me right from the beginning, and he sort of inspired me to find my wings and my place in the Stacks community. So I'm extremely grateful to Hero as well, and I admire him very, very much.
He is a superhero for sure. 100%. So how can you tell us how do people apply for a grant? I know we're a little bit past the applications are closed for this current cohort, but we're expecting there to be a cohort 3 down the line. And can you just kind of go over the application process a little bit for that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've been through cohort 1. We sort of, like I said, it happened live on Twitter. So it's kind of evolved as we've gone along, and I'm sure it's going to evolve further. We built it, if I think back to those first spaces where we were kind of like, let's do this. What about this? Let's do this. It was just this complete exchange of ideas from all these completely different people from all walks of life. And that happened again with cohort 2. We kind of saw where the issues were, and we are trying some new things this time. And I'm certain once we review, or we have a chance to review this cohort, there'll probably be some changes in cohort 3. But yeah, it's a pretty a straightforward process. We really wanted to make it simple for people to apply. You look at a lot of these programs, and you've got to jump through so many hoops, and it becomes almost demotivating for people to even apply. So one of our sort of core goals here was to obviously still gather as much info as we could, but make it relatively easy for people to get involved. So you ideally would attend a couple of spaces, and if you weren't clear of where track your idea, put it in, and then you would choose a track that aligns with your project or your platform, whether it's BNS, DeFi, builders and developers, community and governance, and NFT. And then we also have a sort of mixed bag of sorts in a submit your own category. So you would find your track, and you would then apply directly to that track's D grant. We each have our own sort of application form that we designed. They're pretty similar, but they are a little bit tailored to each need. Particularly if you look at NFTs, they would have a very different application process to what you would have for a DeFi project. So we try to keep that in mind when we design the application forms. There is the dgrants website, dgrants.xyz, and on that website, there's pretty much all the links that would take you through to one of the main links would take you through to the GitHub. And then on the GitHub, you're able to see all the tracks, and you just click on the one that you would like to submit for, and then there is all the information there. It's who the leads are, the dollar value of the application, how to sort of find all these people involved, and the links to the application form. Then you complete the application form. There's kind of like, you've got to submit maybe some Google Docs or elevator pitch, but a lot of that's just optional. Excuse me. And then we have a closing date. The application process goes on for about a month, I think. And then after the closing date, the stewards review the applications. They follow up with the applicants if there are any questions. We host a lot of Twitter spaces, just answering any questions, providing mentorship. So again, very community driven. And then if you're selected as one of the winners, then your funding can either be dispersed as a starter funding or in milestones. And we've put those milestones in there because we don't want to fund projects that kind of end up, which I think you find a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, but you do find with a lot of funding programs, you might hand out a sum of money and you don't really see results from that. So what we do is we put in place milestones, and each milestone has a number value attached to it. And once you achieve that milestone, those funds are released to you. And that all happens on chain on a platform called Zero Authority. Your milestones are tracked there. They are on GitHub, but they are also on Zero Authority. Once your funding is paid out, it is also there out in the open for everyone to see. So it's literally everything happens out in the open. There's nothing that you can miss. And then we also encourage the applicants to share their progress with the community. Really just trying to keep everyone engaged and informed during whatever that it is they're building out or creating. And so we have weekly Twitter spaces for each track where we still continue our mentorship. And that kind of happens. So once the applications close and the voting has happened and the winners are announced, we have sort of very basic grantee participation and reporting guidelines, which we have to try and sort of ensure that the project has success and has community engagement. And these loosely include spaces, as I mentioned, putting your updates on GitHub, monthly thread progress or progress threads.
You're muffled up a little bit. I'm having trouble hearing what you're saying.
I wonder what's going on with my mic. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it sounded like you might have just turned your head a little bit or something, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I'll try and keep my head still, like my profile picture. I forget I am human. Yeah, so that's it. We sort of in a nutshell, we try and keep the entire process even afterwards pretty transparent.
Awesome. It really is. It's an awesome project. Um, I really think that it's a great thing. It's providing some funding for people that need it, and that's important. That's a big deal in the space, especially it's providing funding at a critical level, at a critical point. It's a grassroots funding thing, for projects that haven't that that really are just bootstrapping to get through the first stages of building something. And so it's critical to the project to get some funding and or just support. And you mentioned support being a component of that, and that's actually the project that I'm bringing to the table myself is which spurred this podcast, is that it seems like there's a component of coverage for these projects and giving them some media coverage, some content, some opportunities to get platformed and see what's going on with things. And that really is what I'm trying to do. I know there's some other people that are going to be involved in this as well, but getting them some articles that cover their stuff so that there's stuff for people to refer to out there, and giving them some spaces and giving them some opportunities to come on and talk about their stuff on these podcasts like this is hopefully going to help them also succeed. And even the projects that maybe didn't qualify for funding this round, we'd be happy to help them out with some other types of support as we can. So that's
and that's what's so incredible to me about this is it's not just about the winners. It's not just about those who got funded. We're here to build this ecosystem, and we're saying to people, if you took the time and effort to come to these spaces, to put a proposal together, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. And as much as funding is a vital part of building in all ecosystems here in Web3, there are other ways to do that. For example, I had a project in my NFT track where the gentleman wanted to teach AI tooling to children who are, living in an orphanage in Kenya. And unfortunately, we were unable to fund buying the equipment that he needed. But I just mentioned it on a Twitter space, and literally during that space, I got 3 people hit me up to say, how can we help you? Where do we need to send tech to, and what tech do you need? So this is kind of an example of what happens when you build out in the open. You feel the community feels like this is theirs, and they want to be involved, and they want to see it succeed.
Yeah, and it's so it's bringing people together. That's actually really the strong part of this, is bringing people together so that they can find where they fit in and can contribute from their skill set, where other people that are building stuff um, don't don't have that skill set. There's a lot of devs don't necessarily have great communication skills, or you might have a really great idea for a project, but you don't have any programming or coding. You're not the biggest tech person. There's people in the space out there willing to just chat with you and point you in a direction, even if they're not the one that can help you. It's building a network, a support network of builders on the space, and that's actually it's needed. It's a huge value to the community, in my opinion, what D-Grants is becoming.
Yeah, and building a community is so much more, or building an ecosystem around a blockchain is so much more than just throwing money at the problem. You know, it's about exactly this. It's about building people, bringing people together, allowing people to find the entrepreneur within themselves, to find what they're passionate about, and then to be able to plug in where their passion and where their interests lie. And that's how decentralization, to me, grows, you know.
Right. It's decentralized, or organizing in a decentralized way, I guess is the right way to say it. That's actually where I came up with the name for the podcast, De-organized. It's not
Love it.
disorganized.
I
We're
love it.
we're organizing from a decentralized standpoint, and D Grants seems to have figured out at least a part of the template for how that's supposed to function and work, and or is building that.
Yeah.
It's so cool. We don't DAO, we do decentralized organizations.
I
And
love
it's just
it.
because it's not autonomous. People need to do stuff. People need to be engaged and involved and participate.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like something else that I'm reminded of, that doesn't really have much to do with this, but someone said to me once, we're not human beings, we're human doings. And I kind of love that. It's the
I do
same
love
thing, it
that.
feels like, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. And yeah, we're not hard on a topic. We can always talk about whatever our guests are interested in talking about. So you don't have to worry about uh, like a what
Veering,
whether
of course.
yeah, veering off course. It's your ship, my lady. You please stare at where you will. But I know there's a lot we could talk about. We could talk about D grants all day because there's a ton of stuff going on. I don't know. So, well, what do you want to talk about next?
I think, what about, um, let's look at, I don't know, some of the key projects from cohort 2. Let's look at cohort 2, and kind of this evolution that it was from cohort 1, um, where we were only able to fund 6 projects. I think we were able to fund probably over 30 this time around. Um, and we had some real, because we had so many applicants, we had such standout projects, and I think, I don't know, should I go through a couple of them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually what this space is really about. It's for highlighting these projects. Really, what I'm doing. And This isn't to. We can't obviously go into detail on all the projects today, and anyone that doesn't get mentioned specifically shouldn't take it personally, and we'll get time to cover them. But there are some projects that are really, really interesting and do deserve some eyeballs and some interest. And I'd love to hear which ones stuck out to you the most.
Yeah, we saw a lot of new and exciting people coming into the ecosystem, but I think we were also able to look at funding projects that were led by people who have been working on them for a long time without any funding. And the fact that we have that in this ecosystem, we've got people that are building here on Stacks that aren't funded. They are doing this because they believe in it. And that is one of the core kind of values that I find we have in this ecosystem. People come here with passion for Bitcoin, passion for building on top of Bitcoin, and passion that Stacks can do this. And so we've found historically some really amazing people bringing some really quality things to Stacks. And So I just want to highlight some of those and some new ones that we've found. We have an incredible human being, Sam, in the ecosystem, and he's building something called Stacks Labs. And Stacks Labs basically it provides essential sort of development tools and resources to the community, which I think, his sort of game is to really overall develop the developer experience on Stacks. So we were able to fund Sam this time, which I'm thrilled about. We had a new project. It's called Skullcoin Treasure Island. I think it's Xenotron's project. And that is a gamified DeFi platform, which combines gaming elements with decentralized finance, which I think is pretty cool, to engage users in a fun and rewarding way. I mean, people love a bit of gamification,
Very cool.
and they love a bit of DeFi.
I played around with his testnet too, and it's really, really cool. If you like
Cool.
maps, treasure maps, figuring out riddles, it actually is an awesome project. He's definitely going to get on here soon, and
Yeah.
not to miss on what Sam's building, because that's going to benefit everybody with the Stacks Labs and what the tools he's making available to people there. Awesome stuff. Both of those.
Yeah.
There's, like you said, there's 30 projects getting funding, and some of the projects that aren't getting funding, if there were just less applicants or more money, they would be getting funding. We just don't have, we have a very limited budget. It's
correct.
Amazing. It's amazing.
But we also, we managed to I think we really managed to use these funds so productively. We had, I had an amazing one in the NFT track called NFT Africa. And this, it's led by a lady called Sherry, and she's in Kenya, and she is putting on this event to showcase African artists through NFTs. And she kind of is doing workshops, and I'm actually speaking at it as well. So this just all happened serendipitously afterwards. But I'm really excited about it. It's going through Kenya is the first stop, then Uganda, and then Dar es Salaam. So she's doing this all on a extremely small budget. Absolutely, my hat's off to her, and I just can't wait to see what she does with this. She's been in the Stacks ecosystem for a while. She's an artist herself. She's a photographer. And she's released work both on Stacks NFT and Bitcoin ordinals. So she kind of really understands the artist's needs and how to build that out. So I think watch out for that one. And then another fun kind of NFT-based project, community-based project is Tacovation, which I'm so excited about. That is being headed up by Nieta, and that is a super cool recognition and reward program for community contributors. Still busy being ironed out how it's exactly going to work, but I think we're all going to be vying for our weekly tacos. She's done some beautiful designs for that already, so yeah, that's lots of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, Dan from Boom Wallet. Funny story. I digress again. When I first discovered Stacks, I'd come from the music industry and the art industry, fine art and music as my background in the real world. And I read a book called The Self-Sovereign Individual, Transitioning into the Information Age. And it literally was like the lights went on in my head, because I've been looking for, I'd say the last decade, for a way to provide artists with a better means of income. And I kind of went straight for Bitcoin because I thought, if there's anywhere that I want to put art, it's on Bitcoin. And at that time, obviously, there was no ordinals. It was, 3-4 years ago. And the first thing that popped up on my screen when I Googled how to create on Bitcoin was Boom Wallet. And I met Dan. He was the first person I met in the Stacks ecosystem, strangely enough. So I'm super excited to see the development there, and the fact that they're being funded. So that to me is also another standout project. And then
he was on my spaces yesterday, and what he's building there is really cool.
I DM'd him straight after that space. I was like, Dan, how do I get Boom on my Shopify store? Because I run a Shopify art store. And I was like, how do we make this happen? How do I accept Bitcoin?
It's happening. It's just a matter of time. It's amazing. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. And we're here seeing all this stuff. We're still very early. We're all still very early, but we're past the stage where there's not a clear way on how to do some of this stuff. We're at the stage where we're actually see ways to kind of do it and just kind of figuring out how to get it to work together. And that's actually part of that. It's such an exciting time to be here, and it seems like everything kind of comes together at the right time when it's supposed to. It's really awesome. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were going into something else when I wanted to say about Dan, because that's really an awesome project too. It's crazy how many really great projects are coming through here. Nieta, I didn't cut you off there, but she's been creating some great art, amazing stuff, just on all sorts of levels. Like she just did something for Zero Authority. She just gave them a new logo design. He just dropped that today.
And that was one of the projects I also wanted to mention, was what Zero is doing. I mean, that to me is the future of how we are going to work. It is 100%. Genius. It is going to change the game. And I think having a decentralized reputation system is the way what everybody's trying. It's like the thing we need that we never knew we needed.
It's the fundamental piece. It's the fundamental piece for self custody.
That's right. And I think, it's all kind of happening so fast, but I think what we're building is going to create a completely new economy for the way people work, and I think this kind of thing is how the future of business is going to operate. You mix AI into sort of speeding up people's, time base when they're working, and you add something like this where you can hop about and, get gigs based on your reputation. Where we are talking about, even with Attack Ovation, every time you kind of are on, you hop on the leaderboard, we're still trying to work it out how, but you're going to get a Zero Authority badge that's going to show that you are working in this community. And ultimately, those badges are going to be, forget about your CV. You can't concoct a CV that might be half true. All people have to do is go and have a look at the badges that you've got, because those are on-chain, visible for everybody to see. And, the offer of the job, the acceptance of the job, the completion of the job, all happens right there, out in public. Once again, beautiful stuff.
It's awesome. It really is. And he's such a great guy and contributing in this space for a long time. That was actually one of my first, so I came into Stacks because I was just looking for, I've been in crypto for a few years, just trying to understand it, and interested. And I saw Stacks was smart contracts on Bitcoin, and I came in and I found first Jack Bin Switch on Twitter, became friendly with Jack. And then Zero was like one of the second people I came across. I went to Zero Authority, and it was still in testnet. And I just started being friendly and trying stuff out, figuring I wouldn't even hear back from people, just like poking around and sending like feedback messages. And he was very responsive and super appreciative of people helping out and participating. And I got in his Discord channel, and that really was my start with like getting involved in the Stacks community was largely through Zero. And I love what he's building. Like it's tremendous. And it's not just the gig, it's Trajan and Zero Authority. And he's got the blank, I guess the top, it's called, reputation exchange protocol. Because it is actually two pieces, there is two components to it. There's the reputation side, or the ID side, and then there's the actual gig marketplace where you can get these people out there and go in and hire them. So very soon we're going to be able to find out, Niet is really good at doing logos and design and images for certain things, and really creative at that. And we can actually just propose a gig to her and negotiate that right there without having to go anywhere else, or without having to like go and find how to talk to somebody. It's crazy. That's
totally trustless as well.
And that was one of the cohort 1 projects too, right? He got some funding in cohort 1, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he got funding in cohort 1.
No, not in cohort 1.
No.
Oh, he didn't?
We twisted his arm to come into cohort 2.
Okay. All right. Did he help out as a steward maybe? Is that what it was? Or maybe not. Maybe he was just too busy. He's
just very involved. He's very involved in the community. He joins in, even though he might not be an official steward, he's very much there supporting everybody, listening to everybody. And I think that's why his project is only going to grow and grow further, because he's interested. He's doing this not because he saw a gap in the market to make money. He is interested and passionate about building something that does good.
He holds the principles and core values the same.
Yes. That's right.
So, do you have any? You've been quiet. I want to give you a chance to, if you have any questions or anything you want to. I know you're not shy about interjecting, but I don't want to. We're getting close to the end of the hour here, and I want to give you a chance if you have anything you wanted to ask Good Kitty or talk about or bring up.
I'm going to have to be super honest and say that Good Kitty and I have spoken a lot. So
Eddie knows everything about me.
He already knows it all. And
I'm just really happy that
I know he's been doing great, and he's been participating in the chat, the side chat there with people coming in and talking to people. But I wanted to. He brings a tremendously valuable perspective. So I wanted to make sure that if he had something to say, it was included. So without that, I'll stop cutting you off and I know you were about to say something, Good Kitty. So please continue.
Yeah, just on Hadi. I mean, Hadi has been so instrumental in cohort 2. I mean, he's practically helped us lead this program in its entirety. So really hats off to you as well, Hadi, for your dedication as well in trying to help us create the best possible program that we can for the community. Very, very grateful to you as well.
I 100% agree.
Thank you, guys. You're making me blush. I couldn't have done it without the team. So I think the beauty of this is that we have everyone who shares the same value, and that's the beauty of it, is that we can lean on each other, which is tremendous, that you know that you can lean on people. So I know that Good Kitty is doing like this awesome work, and I can always ask her questions because she's way more knowledgeable on certain aspects and better connected. And then it's the same with you, Peace. And you and I connected literally through a DM, like having a conversation, and look where we are now.
Couple weeks.
Awesome conversations as well. So
yeah.
I can't take all the credit for everything. I think we've got an amazing team this cohort from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It's and it's growing. It's growing. More people are coming in all the time. You know, we're there's, I don't want to call anyone's name out and make them uncomfortable, but there's other people here that I've talked to that aren't necessarily in this space right now that are interested in coming and seeing what we're about too. You know, so we're bringing people to Stacks. We're bringing people in Stacks to D grants and to this platform that we're building. I don't know. So Kitty, is there like any of the new stuff? Is that we're still kind of, maybe there's not a whole lot of news to share on what's coming yet?
Not yet, in terms of cohort 3, but in terms of the projects, I just wanted to mention one more project or two more, just one more, or maybe two. But I wanted to mention audiobox.fun by Rocky and the team. They are new to the Stacks ecosystem, Rocky and Blockface. And I just wanted to give them a shout out too, because just like Hattie, they absolutely jumped into action and have been an instrumental part of this cohort. And Rocky has put forward, and he received funding for a platform called audiobox.fun. And as somebody who entered the crypto space looking for a solution for music, I have never been, and I've been through all of them, I have never been more excited about something that potentially could change the way the whole world interacts with and listens to music and changes the game for artists. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens with Audiobox going forward.
It's that's a really cool project too, and what they're doing, both Rocky and Blockface. I actually got into a spaces on the syndicate today. I haven't. So what we're actually trying to do, if we can, is, and I just created the spaces. We're going to have a spaces on Saturday at 2 p.m. To give every one of the applicants, whether they received a grant or not, and even anyone in building a project outside of the Audio Box is the name of the project, right? BOX. Is that what it is? Audio Box. But anyone building a project outside, even outside of Stacks, if it's within Bitcoin, but if it's in Bitcoin, but a Meta protocol, or even on Merlin or something, these guys are asking. So we're having a spaces on Saturday. Anyone that has a project can come in, give us a 30 to 60 second elevator pitch. They're going to compile that data with Cindy and AudioBox, and they're going to be at Bitcoin Nashville, and they're going to try to promote projects for funding to investors in Nashville next week, based on whoever wants to participate in that spaces and come pitch their project. So I wasn't planning on talking about that because it really just developed this morning, but you brought them up, and they're just it's a group of super smart guys that are really all on the same wavelength as far as values go, and super knowledgeable and functional, and probably almost overqualified to be doing what they're doing.
Yeah. And I love what they call themselves digital mercenaries. I just love that. It's so sexy.
It is. Yeah, it's just cool. Like, I don't know how often you've jumped into the syndicate spaces, but it's really a trippy experience sometimes, for sure. Just the way the conversations go. But yeah, it's just everything in the space is there's just so many different. If you come here and you participate and you get into the spaces and you network with the people and you start getting involved, it can take you into some really interesting places around here.
Yeah. you're definitely going to find something you love and that you want to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can here for sure.
Yeah.
And the beauty is we're very early, and the tooling is only just being built. All the good tooling is coming out now. We're very lucky.
Right. We're still ahead of it. And that can be a double-edged sword because sometimes you can be too early on something. So patience is probably a good virtue to have as well in this space, because sometimes you know things get really exciting and everything's happening, and then sometimes like a month later things slow down because building takes time, and it doesn't all you get these spurts of energy. So just keep building is really what I would say to people about that. But the future is bright here in the space, and D Grants is doing a hell of a job bringing that forward, and I'm grateful for it, because I'm grateful that it gave me an opportunity to kind of meet you guys and a bunch of other people, and become a part of it. That's really what it is. It's not just I'm not just watching, I'm participating, and that's anyone can. Anyone can.
Yeah.
100%.
I think this has actually been this went so well. We have 2 minutes left. And it's all right if we go over a little bit, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And Kitty, I know you had do you have a final message for us?
Yeah, I think I want to kind of reiterate maybe a little bit of what we've said, but I'm so proud of the Stacks D Grants program, and having had the opportunity to be a part of it. And I think it's really a testament to the power of community driven innovation, that by working together we can build this vibrant and sustainable ecosystem that really benefits everybody. Like you say, you can plug in, you can come here, you can plug in, you can create what you want to do. So very much ownership driven, whether you're a developer, an artist, or a community advocate, either, there's a place for you here in the Stacks ecosystem. And by joining the Stacks community means becoming part of a collaborative and inclusive environment where all of your ideas and all of your contributions are valued and important. And we have a space for every kind of talent, from coding and designing to community building, or project management, whatever it is. You will be able to find a space here. And that's what's so special, I think, about this community that we have. And if you look at the diversity of the projects that we've seen so far on the D grants, it just shows that there's absolutely no limit to what we can achieve together. It's really such a special project or program. And I'm so looking forward to being a part of building it out even further for this community, because I just can't imagine what we might be seeing as we move forward into cohort 3, hopefully cohort 4, who knows. I really encourage everyone to participate in our weekly Twitter spaces and engage with the community, because you must remember that your unique insights and your creativity are what is going to drive this ecosystem forward. And by sharing those ideas and by working together with this community who are so open to working together, like you were saying just now, you DM'd, I can't remember who you said it was, and you were surprised that they got back to you. That's the kind of thing that goes on in this ecosystem. And the fact that we do that, we can solve problems, we can innovate, we can create new opportunities, because we're doing it together, and that benefits the entire community. So I really want to say, just let's continue to support one another, let's celebrate each other's successes, and let's learn from our challenges. And I think together we can build something truly amazing that has a lasting impact.
I love it. I love it. Nothing else to say. That's the note we're going to end on. Hattie, thank you so much, man. You're awesome. Good kitty. I'm so happy we did this. I really thank you for giving us the time today to come talk about this and helping support our project here as well. And I'm really excited for things that I see coming in D grants and on the community side and what's being built there. It's really awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating today.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having us. And thank you too for what you've brought to the ecosystem. The fact that and I just want to give a shout out to you, the fact that you put a proposal in, and when we got to your budget, because we loved your proposal, and when we got to your budget, it had $0. And I think Hero contacted you and said, is there an error? Have you left out a couple of zeros? And you were just, you know what? I'm new here. I want to get involved with the ecosystem. This is what I want to do. I want to create a media hub. And look what happened. Just, spontaneously, we contacted you and we were like, okay, will you head up the comms for Stacks? And the next thing, here you are, hosting spaces, writing threads, writing newsletters, meeting community members. So that's what I think it means about this program. And I just wanted to, because that's like the true meaning of coming with the right values. And I just want to take my hat off to you, just as closing, and say thank you very much for joining and for your proposal in the D grants.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It means very much to me. And it's authenticity is actually the most appreciated thing. And that's what I find a lot in this space, is that the people here, at least the people that engage and participate in our cooperative, are authentic. They're honest with who they are. There's not a lot of posing as something else, and or when there is, they kind of expose themselves very quickly. So there's a lot of authenticity here, and that's what I try to bring as well. I try to be authentic and say what I'm going to do and mean it. And that's what I did. And I didn't want to. I could have put a budget together and asked for a lot of money, to do this. But it's not necessary, number one. And number two, I definitely don't want to take money away from projects that are building something concrete and usable, that need it to actually be able to do it. So that's where I came from with this. But I really appreciate the shout out and the recognition. That's not why I'm doing this, but it's always nice to feel appreciated. And likewise, you guys gave me an opportunity to do so, and I took it and ran with it, because that's what I do. So I love it.
And I wish it just grow, I know it's going to grow and grow. And I think a lot of people have to remember that as well. Some people barge into an ecosystem and they come with all this experience and knowledge, and they think, okay, well, now I need to get paid a large sum of money for bringing my expertise to this. But not only is knowledge worth nothing if it isn't shared, but also sometimes it does take time getting to know a community, and especially because we live in this trustless environment, or this anonymous environment. And I know for myself, I've been here 3 years, and for the first 2 of those, it really was just me and the voices in my head. That was all that I was communicating with,
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times too, because so many people are, want to keep their privacy and aren't doxxed, and you're dealing with a lot of PFP images as who you're getting to know. So there's kind of this surrealness to the people, and it's hard to keep track of who is who if you're just seeing the space and you see all of these icons and they're talking and they know each other. It's hard to keep track of who everybody is. Like this guy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why doing what you're doing is important, because it's allowing you to get to know the community, and I really see it as becoming very successful. So super awesome to have you here in the community.
Thank you. And it's super awesome to have I've gotten so much support over the last the last couple of weeks of the stuff I'm putting together. It's really been tremendous help in doing this, because if I just tried to do this on my own, like just start a podcast without having any kind of like specific relationships that I was building ahead of that, there's no way I would have had this kind of capacity to make something that was as cool as the last couple of, like, this was an awesome podcast. This has been great. I'm so happy with this. And then the spaces yesterday, and I'm looking forward to more of the same, because I got a great community behind me here too. So I'm super happy about all of this. And I don't know, I guess, do we have anything else we want to talk about before we wrap it up? Anyone else have anything they need to say?
I just wanted to jump in and say, peace, love. Thank you very much for taking the reins. Sorry, I dropped in and out. So I want to continue what Good Kitty was saying, was to say thank you. Also allowing me to come and co-host with you, even though I'm probably not talking as much. And then obviously give kudos again to Good Kitty for all that she's done and all she is going to do in the future to make sure that we continue with the ethos of the sense of community and driving things forward and the connections. And I think that's the most important thing that I've noticed, is the connections. So we wouldn't be sitting here on this podcast without those connections. And Good Kitty's the one who brought me into the community. So I dropped into space, we had a conversation, and the rest is history, as we say. So I just wanted to give kudos to both of you for picking up the reins and really pushing this forward. And I think the space yesterday proved it, peace, love, and today's proved it again, that we can drop a lot of information and we can connect the community even more with ideas and goodwill.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. And thank you both. I mean, really, this has been so awesome. I've had such a great time. I love chat, like just kind of getting this stuff out there, and this has been a great medium for that.
Sorry, may I just quickly jump in and mention for everybody to look out for stackslink.xyz. It'll be coming in the next week or two. I'm building out a website for our community to hopefully continue to bring us all further and further together. So yeah, just wanted to mention that.
Awesome. I was hoping you would mention that. I'm glad to do that. Awesome. I'm really excited about it. I might have slightly mentioned it yesterday on the spaces, but I because it became topical. But I didn't give too much information about it, because I mean, we're still kind of figuring it out, but it's stackslink.xyz. I'm really excited to see what you do with that. And I think that's a wrap. I think we are deorganized, and thank you guys for joining us today. I had a great time, and we'll see you guys all again soon. And Nick, you can take us out.
Thank you. Good night.